The number one reason why most people can't get what they want in their life is because they don't see God. That's because they've totally forgotten God. Because they don't know the benefits of worshiping God, which I'm really good at. And I've seen these benefits come to me, and I've experienced this throughout my life. In this video, I'm gonna share with you something that not many people in this world know about God, which comes from the oldest scriptures of the oldest religion in the world, which is Hinduism. In this video, I'll explain you what we don't know about God and how knowing these things will help you get what you want in your life. Hello and welcome, it's me Justin, and this is Bright Secrets, where we talk about the oldest scriptures of the oldest religion in the world, which is Hinduism, and how you can change your life with the help of these closely held scriptures which not many people in this world know about. Most people in this world don't have access to the oldest scriptures known to humankind about God, so they don't know how to worship God using the proper methods of worship which the God himself has prescribed in the oldest scriptures of Hinduism. The first step towards worshiping God is knowing why you even need to worship God. This video will cover the basics of God, like a God 101 according to Hinduism. According to Hinduism, God is someone who is omnipresent and omnipotent, which means he's everywhere and he's the most powerful person. He has absolute influence over every single thing in this universe. And that's how you know that me and you are not gods. And it's only God who can be present in almost anything in this universe and who can have absolute influence over any single thing in this universe. God is inside every single atom in this universe. God is inside us human beings, animals, plants, and every other sort of non-living being that is existent on this planet or in the entire universe. And every single thing exists because of him. Without his existence, there would be no other things that would exist on its own. So every single thing is dependent on God. God is the only person who is independent, according to Hinduism. Without his influence, nothing in this universe will even move or change. The main point here is that everything that happens to you because of him. It's because of him that you get your food. It's because of him that you have your shelter. It's because of him that you have money. Without having money, you wouldn't be watching this video having a valid internet connection, would you? It's because of him that you have people around you who love you, who support you, who encourage you, and who make sure that your life goes so smooth. Your actions are because of him. Every decision that you think that you make is because of him. Just understand how kind God is, how much he loves you. He works for you 24/7, non-stop, without you even thinking about him nor thanking him. As if he was your slave, even though he's the most prestigious person in this entire world. So who's God according to Hinduism? You may have heard that in Hinduism there are 33 million different gods, and I'm gonna tell you straight up that that is just not the case. In Hinduism, there's only one God, and that God is Lord Vishnu. Now, Lord Vishnu has many avatars, like Rama, Krishna, Narayana, but these avatars are not different gods by themselves, and they all have the same level of power when it comes to controlling the world. So they are all still him. It's Lord Vishnu himself. And after God comes is the Devatas, which are like the sub-gods. They are still dependent on the main God for their existence, and the main God, that is the Lord Vishnu, has to be inside these sub-gods for their existence. Some of the examples of the Devatas, that is the sub-gods, are Brahma, Lakshmi, Shiva, Ganesh, and many more other 33 million gods. So they are all the sub-gods. So the 33 million gods are not the main god. They're still dependent on the main god. They follow the main god, and they all have a hierarchy of power as to who is more powerful than each other, and they all have a specific job to perform in this world. So the main god, has to be inside these gods and help them do these jobs. So it's kind of like no one is independent except the main god himself, that is the Lord Vishnu and his avatars himself. But here's the good news: you can worship the main god, that is Lord Vishnu, in any of his avatars. You can worship him in the form of Krishna, Vishnu, Rama, or any other form that you wish and like. So how to worship God to reap benefits? In Hinduism, there are many different methods of worship, like puja, homa, yajna, yaga, meditation, etc. But in this video, I'm not going to explain you these different methods of worship, but rather I'll explain you some common underlying principles behind these different methods of worship that are described in Hinduism. For these specific methods of worship, you can look at my other videos wherein I explain you different methods of worship, but I can say that there are 4 common underlying principles behind every single method of worship according to Hinduism. The first one is understanding and actively recalling that we human beings are not independent and that we are dependent on God for every single thing. Because just a few moments before, we learned that we human beings are very much dependent on God. Every single thing in this universe is existent because of Him. So obviously we all are very much dependent on God for every single thing that we have in our life. So for us to think that we human beings are independent by ourselves is like a copyright issue. It's like we are taking credit for something that we are not. Instead, we have to credit God for giving us every single thing that we have in our life. So it is our duty as human beings to remind ourselves by actively recalling that we human beings are not independent and that God is the person who is the only person who is independent in this entire universe, and everything else is dependent on Him, including all these devatas. So the second principle is thanking God. Since God has given us every single thing from our birth till we die, He's gonna keep giving us even though we think about Him or not. It's very obvious and very reasonable for us to thank Him for every single thing that He has given to us. It's very obvious that we don't even know what God has given us, because we don't have the mental capacity to think about every single thing He has been giving us. You can't literally think about every single thing that God has given you because you don't even know what all God has to do, how much of effort God needs to put in so that your life goes smoothly. Because look at your own body. It has a heart which beats every single day. You don't even think about your heart. You don't even know how many cells has to exist in your body for it to even exist. You don't know how many cells die each day and how many new cells each day are formed, which the God is forming and doing for you without you even having to think about these things. So it's very obvious and reasonable for us to thank Him for every single thing that He has given us. If someone were to do something good to you, you would just go and thank them, right? And if you thank them, they will be forced to give you even more. And that is just the same case with God. So if you thank Him for every single thing that He's given, He's gonna be forced to give you even more. He's gonna be happy that you're thankful for every single thing that He has given, and He's gonna be forced to give you even more without you even having to ask what you need. Because He's God and He knows what you want and He knows what you think. Now, the third underlying principle behind all the worshipping methods is thinking about all the good qualities of God. Now, God doesn't have any bad qualities. Prove me wrong in the comment section. God only has all the good qualities. Since God has given you every single thing that you have with you in your life, you have to be happy about all the good qualities that God possesses, like His omnipresence, His omnipotence, His superiority, His richness, his kindness, his ability to love every single person to an extent that no one else can love. Since God loves you so much and gives you every single thing, it's your duty that you think about all these good qualities and feel the happiness that God has all these good qualities in him. The fourth underlying principle is bhakti. This one is the most important principle. This one is like a deal breaker. Now, bhakti can exponentially raise the amount of results that you're going to experience from any worshipping method. Now, bhakti in itself is the emotion of love that you feel towards God for every single thing that God has given to you. When you think about these things, the God's favors that he's been doing to you since you were born, you should feel the emotion of love towards him for every single thing that is given you. So every method of worship involves a combination of these underlying principles, but bhakti is like a mandatory principle amongst all the different types of worshipping methods. So when we perform God's worship, we gain something called as punya. Now, punya is the opposite of sin. So it is the quantity of good deeds that we performed in our life till now. So our action is karma. So any action that you perform either gets you punya or phapa. Phapa is another name for sin. So you either get punya or phapa for every action that you perform, which is called as karma. So you can get anything that you want in your life by performing good deeds like worshipping God to gain punya. The more punya you have, the better things you have in your life. So if you made it so far, congratulations! You learned a lot about the basics of Hinduism. To learn the actual worshipping methods which I talked about, be sure to check out my other videos on this channel. And if you understood the logic behind different worshipping methods, the principles behind these different worshipping methods, be sure to like this video, subscribe to this channel to learn more about Hinduism, and be sure to comment below regarding any questions that you may have regarding the principles that I just talked to you about, or maybe if you want to share some experience of yours regarding Hinduism, be sure to drop it down in the comments below, and be sure to follow me on Instagram and Facebook for your daily dose of Hinduism. If you want to get personal coaching for success and prosperity through Hinduism, or if you are in some difficult times in your life and want to seek some help, you can have a personal consultation with me on Fiverr. I'll put the link in the description below where you can find me on Fiverr for all the personal consultations that you want to have with me, wherein I give you solutions that are perfectly tailored towards solving your problem or helping you achieve anything that you want to achieve in your life. So with that being said, Krishna Pranamastu, which means whatever I did was because of Krishna. I was able to talk and film this video with the help of Krishna. So I'm thanking Krishna for helping me shoot and film this video so that I can put it on the internet and help you guys. I'll see you next time.